Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by. So, the Billboard Top 100 charts have updated today, and the song that was at number one, Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town, dropped 20 points. It's out of the top 20 now at position 21, which is kind of a big deal. A drop that steep has only happened 5 other times in the chart's entire history, which it is a, point to note and all, but these artists who've done that are still relatively massive artists. So it doesn't say anything about his staying power or anything like that, and I don't mean to suggest that. The steepest drop came from Jimin from that BTS group. His song Like Crazy went from number 1 to number 45 in a week. And the second steepest drop was Taylor Swift. Is it Willow, I think was the name of the song? Went from number 1 to in the 30s in a week. So this doesn't say anything about him as an artist or anything like that, or his credibility, whatever you want to call it. However, I would say it has something to say about conservative audiences. I wouldn't be surprised if in the coming days you start to see videos about how this is a conspiracy by the media to keep you from listening to this song and, because they want to suppress conservative values or something like that. And honestly, anytime I hear conversations about this song, what I'm reminded of is a Key and Peele skit. You might already know the one that I'm talking about, but the guy gets a new neighbor and he writes and performs country music. And in his mind, the lyrical value of these songs, it's just that's just country music. That's just what people sing about, and it's not real. But on a subtext level, there's stuff that's missing, or at least stuff that it seems like some people don't get. You might call it dog whistles, whatever you want to call it. It's signaling to people who are listening what you represent, what your values are. And it's true that on a lyrical value, you might not recognize some of this stuff. The dude's video got pulled off of CMT because of the imagery used. Showing what was it, the Black Lives Matter protest. A protest about police equality. And you're saying, don't try that in my town. Now, of course, you could say that's not what he was singing about in the song, but that's certainly where you chose to put in your music video. And then, of course, having that bit in front of the courthouse where, they lynched that kid. But yeah, you can expect to see this in the news, I'm sure. And who knows, maybe it'll go back up on the charts. Maybe they'll do like a Sound of Freedom with it and they'll sell people copies of the song. You can pay it forward for someone and they'll push it back up on the charts. Who's to say? I don't really know. I do think it's interesting when you look at this song and the state of country music in general, especially if you look back in the history of country music. There's absolutely a marketing aspect to country as a brand label name, where when you look at the formations of the first time this music was called country music, it being marketed towards conservative white men. And then you had what we now call Americana, as basically it's the for everyone else, for the outlaws, which I find it so funny when you have the guys who cheer on this Try That in a Small Town song who call themselves outlaw country, when you have lines in the song talking about how much they love the cops and you better respect the law. But that's just kind of what I expect from stadium country music now. It's all for the show. It's all for the, I guess you want to call it, virtue signal. This is who we are. This is what we're like. Talking about being in a small town when you grew up in Macon, Georgia, a 6-digit population. To me, a small town is 1,000 or less. I think categorically it's 2,500, but it's not Macon, Georgia, so what can you do? But, we'll see what happens with the song. I don't think it'll get back up to number one. Probably is going to rise up a little bit more just because, conservatives are going to say that the woke left doesn't want you to listen. And I hope you don't buy that, but we'll see what happens. I guess until we get more news from Jason Aldean, y'all try to have a good day.